Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your weekly virtual TV guide right here at the Latin Nerds Network, where we review all the shows and films that get released on streaming, give you our best recommendations, and of course at the end of the show we'll let you know what's coming out so you can create your very own watchlist. It's a pretty big week next week, so buckle in. Of course, to help us navigate the streaming seas, if you will, is co-host live from Houston, Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be, brother.
Happy Sunday, bro. What's going on?
Not much. Not a big week this week in terms of quantity. Next week,
No, these first 2 weeks have been light, but
lighter.
this week
Next week,
coming up, these next 2 weeks are
oh,
definitely
it's 2 weeks? Oh,
uh
God. Okay, so I have one good free weekend this weekend to then after that.
no, next couple of weeks are pretty tight. I already said you last week, but yeah, we got some stuff going up next this week and then going into February.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But whatever. Next week, I should be able to tackle most, probably everything. After that, I don't know. But whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Um, let's start with there's only one way to come out, and I doubt you saw this one because I know you're anti-Korean, which I get. But
Wait, slow your roll.
just
I'm not
kidding,
type bad
just
Korean, okay,
kidding.
dude?
I'm joking.
There's a big difference.
Uh, Anti-North Korea. Jung-E was a film released. It was caught my attention, and it was directed by the same guy who gave us Train to Busan, which I love, a zombie film. Hellbound was the other series they did on Netflix, which I liked as
Mhm.
well. So this one is a post, apocalyptic, whatever. We've been down this road a million times, but what the hell? It's always nice to revisit. It takes place, God knows, a couple of hundred years in the future, and our Earth is capacity of the whole life is limited. So now there's just outposts between space and the moon, of various ones, and there's a few of them that have wanted to branch off in their own republic and cause kind of like a civil war, so to speak. So it's a company designing new fighters based off an artificial intelligence. They can now extract consciousness and put it into a brain and put it into these androids or whatever. So they're testing it out, and they're using, and the first test subject is this famous warrior whose daughter is now actually running the program. Interestingly enough. So, Joey, did you see this or no? I don't think you did. I didn't think
That's
so.
a
Yeah,
negative,
I
dude.
kind of think. But this one here, yeah, it's an emotional one because it's her running the show for her mother, who she felt kind of left her to go to war and end up dying, of course. But now she has a chance to kind of reconnect, kind of. She creates this kind of robots, kind of. I know this is a lot of homages to like Terminator, for example, and Blade Runner. Decent film, not great, decent film. It's a good, great intro action wise, and the last, the third act is really cool. In the middle, it's a little slow. A lot of great ideas. I don't really explore a lot. That deal with a lot of the classes and the processes and things in place that people can get their memory extracted or whatever and put kind of more immortality kind of sort of thing, which we've seen again 1,000 times. It's pretty well done. It's fine. It's entertaining enough. I expected more of a director of his caliber, but it's good. It's good enough to go watch. I would recommend on this one. I actually enjoyed this one. Again, this good action sequences, sandwiching in between a story which it's inconsistent, but solid enough to give it a good watch. So I recommend this one again. Jung-E on Netflix. If you're a fan of Korean stuff and all that, some good sci-fi. This should really pique your interest. Um, this shows. We'll start with the top, man. I was gonna we'll put this in the end. I'm like, forget it. Let's go guns blazing. And I'm really curious to get your thoughts. And that's, of course, that is The Last of Us on HBO. First episode dropping. Weekly release on Sundays. Had a big debut, biggest debut, not called Game of Thrones over the last 13 years. Game of Thrones is,
Not associated with
of course,
dragons.
Game
Let's
of
put
Thrones.
it that way.
Based off the very popular game Last of Us, of course, from Sony PlayStation. A game which I thought was one of my favorite games. The best story I've ever played, narrative told through a video game that I've ever played.
Ah,
Um,
it's no Metal Gear Solid. I'm
this
just saying.
America Solid. It is what it is. Great story told. We got Pedro Pascal and I forget her name from Game of Thrones, Lady Mormont here.
Bella Thorne.
Bella, there you go.
No,
Who
is it Bella
not
Thorne?
Bella Thorne. I forget her name. Forgive me, but either way. And obviously, this is again another post-apocalyptic kind of thing, kind of a the simplest term, the zombies kind of take over, kind of in a certain way, and there's starting out in 2003, and then they fast forward 20 years later, where the kind of story really starts to pick up with Pedro Pascal's character. He's just trying to survive, and he's tasked to take this young girl he meets to a certain group, but she's a key to humanity's salvation. Put it simply put. My thoughts in a second. I talked about this on the other show, Nurse Splaining. Chewy, you never played the game. I don't think you're familiar. Maybe you're familiar with the story. I don't know if you are not. So you're coming in
I am
clean.
not, and I am
Yeah,
not.
you're coming in absolutely clean. Never played the game. You don't know anything about it. So I'm gonna get your thoughts about what you thought about the show.
I thought it was mediocre. No, I'm just kidding. It was amazing, dude.
Okay.
It was. I found it to be uh, reinvigorating the zombie genre. Kind of in the way that when obviously we're so over. I've been so over Walking Dead for so many
Well,
years
yeah.
because it was just kind of like the name. It just dragged, literally dragged. And we've mentioned the issues with the show over the years and how it was great, and then it just meandered literally in one big circle. And then we've seen these other Korean incarnations of zombie, which have brought something new to the
Yeah.
table. But it's not something that's sustaining because I'm sure after a few seasons that it'll get old and time to move on. So just
Excuse me.
keep it short. But this one was just had me from the very beginning with the characters that I want to care about to the story, the the way it was portrayed. It was just such fresh and engaging way that I was like, I'm in. First couple minutes, I'm all in. This was just great TV. Not really focusing, not yet anyway, on the zombies themselves or whatever they want to call them, right? But kind of set up the world. But I saw it now that I was like, man, this is outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously gonna echo what you're saying as a fan of the game. My concern was only how true or not true they'll stick with the source material, right? Because the source material is great, and there's no reason to really
Mm,
tinker a whole lot with it. And I was not familiar with the game Chewy, but for me, it pretty much stuck to what the game presents for the most part. I know there's one major change where there's these kind of plants and spores that are out there, and that they put mask on because they could pop when you get close to them, and that's how you get infected. They kind of remove that element out of it,
mm.
which is fine. That's not a huge deal here and there.
Well, have they ruled it out, or it could come up in the next
No, I read
episode?
that.
Because I mean, obviously,
Well, I read that they took
oh,
that
sorry.
aspect out
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
all right,
As
all
far as that goes, so which is fine. It's not a huge deal, right? It's cool for gaming because you want more elements of danger as you're playing the game, right? So
right.
you have to avoid not only they call them tickers, but also the spores and stuff like that. But in a story like this, you don't need it as far as TV it goes anyway.
Mm,
The,
okay.
the beginning intro really cool. Where they had the two signs,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
beta
That
scientist.
that
Yeah,
that, that the
that's
initial exposition
yeah,
where kind of laid out,
mhm,
how and the why, right?
right.
And then flash forwarding 30, 40 years forward, almost 40 years,
Yeah,
35
exactly. Yeah,
years forward.
close enough. That's
Um,
that bit is brand new. So but that was a great addition
yeah,
to it.
yeah. I heard that was just done for the TV because I mean, you have to set up
Hmm.
this world,
Right.
right? And rather than having the characters talk about, well, you remember this, or kind of in a very clunky way, they just did a cold open of a scene way before these events
Hmm.
and kind of explained, okay, this is the threat, right? And now 35 years later, this is the organization of that
Right,
threat.
came to fruition, right? And then it had the opening
Mhm.
sequence back in 2003 with Pascal's daughter. Excellently done. It's fantastic. The when things started breaking
Oh, that
down,
was that.
the whole section was
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, spoilers, no,
Um,
maybe.
well, no, it's spoiler free. But
Okay. Well, his daughter, who I didn't realize afterwards, is actually Thandie Newton's daughter,
yeah.
right,
Hmm.
from Westworld, and obviously of the shows that we love. So once I saw it, I was like, oh man, looks just like her. That's right.
It's funny, but yeah, that was a really cool sequence. How they said that was a little bit longer than the game had it because the game does start with her. For like the first 5 minutes is kind of the first 20 minutes of the show, right? And ultimately
Mm-hmm.
leading to
Where the chase and trying to get out of the
right getting
city.
out, and
Mhm.
how that big event happens is slightly different in
Mhm.
terms of who executed that act. But the act itself was obviously the crux of what's going to move forward for the rest of the game, right? It's such a
Mhm.
great setup and so whatnot because it's that they always harken back to, and then you see the thing with the watch that he gets, right? How symbolic that is, and that's the only thing he has,
Mhm.
remaining, and the watch is broken as such as he is. And that's straight from the game. So give me an idea of how detailed the game was and intricate in terms of its writing. That, and they kind of always go back to the watch, particularly in the very last scene, which is so subtle of the game, which is probably the last scene of the season. great callback. But I listen. It's a great start. I like what I got. It gets crazy and it's a lot of interesting moments. I can hope they continue to follow the game because the game is near perfect in terms of storytelling.
I mean, I don't anticipate anything deviating too
I don't think so.
significantly as
Yeah,
far as the game. I mean, obviously, they modified some things for
of course.
TV,
Yeah, things like with the
but
brother who is there. But yeah,
everything is based on the source material to the
and
T.
that's a good way to do it. You want to
Um,
make some changes, keep the core, the central part of the story there. Just bring new elements for the storytelling because not everything that works in the game works in TV or books and movies and whatever, and vice versa.
yeah.
So,
And this first episode is supposed to be, I guess, lack of a better, the worst of the season, because this is when they changed their showrunners, directors at the very beginning,
mhm.
and there was a lot of editing with this first episode. But if this is the worst, god damn,
Oh no,
dude,
we're in
I
for
can't
a
wait to
ride.
see the
This is
next
already.
ones.
I mean, as a
Yeah.
gamer, obviously if you play the game, you know the games is a must-watch to begin with. It's hard to call something must-watch after one episode. I'm comfortable knowing what I've seen thus far. You don't know what's coming, so it's different from your perspective, coming from where you're coming from. But ultimately, yeah, this is the first big show of the year in HBO. I think good for them. I can't wait to keep watching it. It's great. An hour and 20 minute long, perfect. You know, you have to make this 30-minute episodes, 40-minute episodes. Give us
Mhm.
enough what you need to tell the story, right? Yeah,
No, it didn't feel long. I got the end. I was like, when it leaves you wanting more after sitting there for more than an hour, they've done a great job
oh no,
engaging with the
absolutely.
audience, engaging with people who are watching, and more importantly, with people who are not
Correct.
familiar with the
Yeah,
source material or the game.
yeah, and
That is the
that's the
key
key.
for the
That's the key.
success. It's
Absolutely.
reaching a mass audience, not just a niche, fanboys that will shred it to death because they didn't follow this detail or that detail.
Yeah, you gotta make. I prefer changes. All you just keep the core element of the story, which they did,
Mhm.
and they have. They can deviate a little bit here and there. That's not for me. Never an issue. I prefer that to be honest with you. If I want the exact same thing, I go play the game. Right? I have it there. I want. So yeah, so great start. Can't wait to see what's coming up. So absolutely must watch as far as I'm concerned. This next one also dropping in the same day is season 2 of Mayor of Kingstown, starring Jeremy Renner, of course, who had his medical issues with an accident recently, in a snowplow accident. Well, I guess almost life-threatening accident. He seems to be okay. Good for him. He's back season 2. Only one episode. So there's not a whole lot to talk about. But I figured we kind of talk about the season because this is a show I missed. And I think maybe you made too. I don't know. I missed,
Yeah, I picked it up
yeah, I
late.
picked it up late. I watched it like maybe less than a month ago. So
Mhm.
okay, in preparation, everyone kept talking about how good it was and all that. Tyler Sheridan, who gave us 1923, who was in Paramount, Yellowstone, Wind Rivers, a great film. You can see that on Netflix. He did a Tulsa King, which we enjoyed and all that. So he's been in a hot streak. So this was again another very dark and bleak kind of tale as it is. It doesn't sound like it's your cup of tea. I get it. Don't watch it. But if you don't mind, it's a good story. It's we have Jeremy Renner who's took over his brother as the quote unquote mayor of Kingstown, small town somewhere up north.
Well, he's a fixer, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
an intermediary. He's
Exactly.
the liaison
Yeah. But yeah. Between
between the inside and the outside world as far as related to the criminal elements and the correctional system, right?
yeah,
So dealing with the cops, dealing with
the gangs,
the leaders on the
the
outside at
inmates.
various
Yeah.
factions, the fascists, the Crips, the Euro type of mafiosos, right? And obviously dealing with the cops on the inside and the correctional guys. So it's a big mix. So he's like the guy in the middle trying to
Yeah, he kind
run
of
and
helps. Yeah,
navigate,
helps keep the balance and things and an even keel,
keep
right?
the
He just keep
peace.
the peace
Mhm.
amongst the gangs and all that. The town is, I think, half the population is comprised of the criminal element inside these facilities and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like definitely at least two, maybe more, as far as a big, large correctional facilities,
yeah.
one women's, one
Mm-hmm.
men's, right? And obviously dealing with multiple law enforcement factions, FBI, state police, local police, the correctional. So these are all different. It's all police, but it's all different
Mm-hmm.
entities within the bigger group. So there's a lot of interactions going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a good show. It's well done. Like I said, it's a dark show, but it's a
Mhm.
good show, and it's a slow build and ended in a chaotic way, in a good way. I'm saying. So this one was a slow start, but I expected as much because you kind of have to reset now, right? This big events happened the last couple episodes of season 1, where okay, now
Mhm.
let's regroup, reset the new. I don't say world's bad word, but the new scenario where we're at now, based on the events, what happened at the end of season 1. So, but yeah, it's a good show, man. I'm
Mhm.
enjoying it a lot. This is a high recommend for me. Chewy, I assume you're on the same page on that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting to see if we're going to get Littlefinger back again this season or not.
That's true, Littlefinger. He's got to come back. I don't. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to come back, but why wouldn't he come back? I mean, it's
Yeah,
Littlefinger.
but there's an open case, so definitely. I mean, obviously that season one, the bus with the 23 bodies
Mm-hmm.
inside
Yeah.
that he found by accident. So obviously he's still involved. Right? He's still looking for
Oh
him.
no, yeah,
So
he's involved. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's well done. It's a really well done show. If you got Paramount Plus, it's not
mm,
Paramount's got these okay stuff, but there's a few shows that really stand out, and this is one of them.
yeah.
So if you have Paramount
I mean,
Plus,
outside from the Yellowstone series and spinoffs, I mean, I'd say Tulsa King is very
mhm.
good. The Offer was very
Yeah, I love The
good.
Offer. Yeah.
I'm still a fan of Picard, regardless of its issues.
If you're
Whatever.
Star Wars,
It's
if you're a
nostalgia.
Star Trek fan, you probably
Yeah,
have Paramount.
yeah,
Fine, fair
yes,
enough. But I'm saying
exactly.
there's
So,
other shows besides the Star Trek stuff on there that are
mm,
really good shows, which are better than the stuff they give us on Star Trek, as far as I'm concerned. And I like Star Trek, I
mhm.
do. Picard season 3 looks to be really good for someone who saw it already. Has really sung his praises, and he hated the first two Picards. So for this guy to tell me that, that means something. He's like, and he's a huge Star Trek fan, old school Star Trek. Doesn't like a lot of the new stuff, and he's like, I hated the first two.
He's a red shirt
Yeah,
guy.
he's Yeoman Johnson. He's Team Johnson.
Yeoman Johnson.
But he says, yeah, he said third one, it really surprised him. He's like, it's really so okay for whatever that's worth, which maybe we all may hate it. I don't know, but whatever that's worth. But neither here nor there. Right, Mayor of Kingstown for sure. It's a definitely good show to watch. I won't go as far as say it's must to watch, but if you got Paramount, yeah, give it a try. Absolutely, it's really good. It's slow burn, but it's good. This next one here, can't say I'm surprised, but the 90's show on Netflix, of course, they're well, that's not a reboot, but whatever you want to call it, or a continuation. Of course, that 70s show came out, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever it is. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and Topher Grace, etc. Yeah, they're bringing it back. I guess this nostalgia time. A lot of stuff is being getting brought back. It is what it is. I was not a big fan of the 70s show to begin with, so I don't expect much out of this. But I'll let you kind of go first as far as what your thoughts on this one.
I am like it. I think
Okay.
it's a very fine balance between relying on the 70s shows, which I was a fan of the 70s
Okay.
shows back then. Obviously, we were kids. We were kids of the 80s and the early 90s, but we knew enough to make fun of people from the 70s, 8 tracks and the Power Child and all this stuff that came out of the 70s, right? But I still enjoyed it. It was a funny show back in its day, right? It was good. It was good comedy, right? Not the best, right? But it was still entertaining and it lasted a few seasons, and so it was pretty good. But I've watched this, with low expectations because I wasn't sure what to expect, right? And I think they're giving me a good mix of bringing in the original elements but obviously integrating a new cast, and so they're not heavily reliant on the old shtick,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a good wholesome comedy, man. It's funny, man. It has its moments. It's good. It has me laughing out loud in spots here
Okay.
and there. And then when they introduce some of the original characters, right? Fez and Kelso and even they brought back the guy Cheech and Chong. Was it Cheech? I think it was Cheech, right? He was part of the show. Later on into the season, they brought him back for one scene. So I'm enjoying it. I like it, man. I'm saying with my wife, and we're enjoying it.
Okay. Yeah. I
That's what you can ask for,
no.
right?
I wish I could. The thing is, like I said, I think, and I was gonna start with this is that and I think you hit the nail on the head because you yourself said you like the '70s show. This show
Yeah.
is meant for fans of that, right? So I get it,
Yes.
right? It's not like it's a bad show. It's just not for me because I just wasn't a fan of the original. I really wasn't, and it's the same kind of humor. Again, if you thought that was funny then, you can think it's funny now, right? I'm assuming that a lot of good nostalgia. The first episode brought back Topher Grace and I forgot the redheaded girl, Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher came out.
Mhm.
That's good homages to that's what you came to see, right? Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't laughing very much. Again, just not a fan of the show. But again, this is if you're a '70s show fan, I'm gonna assume like you yourself are gonna enjoy this one. So I would,
Yeah, this is traditional
yeah,
sitcom,
exactly.
type of show.
Yeah,
It's not akin to it's not Minx, right? It's not
it's a different kind of comedy, right? Yeah,
Hacks.
this
Yeah,
is
it's a
very
different
much
kind of comedy, right?
what's it, vintage is the wrong word, but typical sitcom of the '90s, right? As in terms of
Yeah,
representation
the late
jokes. Yeah,
'80s and into the
yeah,
'90s. The Cosby Show,
yes,
Seinfeld,
Cheers and
Will and Grace,
Grace. Yeah,
Cheers. I
yeah,
mean, all those
yeah.
shows that came up in the NBCs in the '80s and '90s. the situation, the Big Bang Theory,
Yeah,
which obviously you're not a fan of, and I'm a huge fan of Big Bang
yeah.
Theory,
I
but
guess it just
those type of
I just not a big fan. I used to be a big fan of that, but it just I evolved. I just it's not a preference that I like to watch. Where some are funny, some are not, whatever. But nonetheless, I mean, when it became more of a kind of mockumentary like The Office, that I kind of enjoyed that more. For example, Parks and Rec, that kind of thing, right? It changed, but it's very much a product of its time. Just it's like a time capsule, and they dropped it right now. It's like it feels like you're in the '90s again. Not a bad show, just not for me. But I would say honestly, if you're a fan of the '70s, I just don't see how you wouldn't like the '90s. Ultimately, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So this last one here, The Legend of Vox Machina, animated show on Amazon, which I had not watched. So I'm like, you know what? I was not gonna watch. I'm like, you know what? Let me. It's a very light week, and it's a 25-minute episode. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check
Yeah.
this out. So I started and I actually ran through the first season, and I got a chance to see the first 3 episodes, which dropped in season two.
Hmm.
That's a fun ass show, man. It really is. It's to me, I kept
I
thinking,
told you,
it's just Dungeons and Dragons
it's
meets Guardians of the Galaxy
no,
meets Invincible,
it's not.
right?
Well,
In terms of just the style animation,
hmm.
the over the top, the
Actually, that's not a bad mixture of
right.
things because it has elements of each.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's a mix of those three, right? In terms of us, that kind of the Rox Machina as the name of this
Mm.
ragtag group of mercenaries, if you will.
Literally, yeah. Some elves, some magicians, killers, some
Yeah,
giants. I mean, yeah, it's just a hodgepodge with different powers
different
and different
personalities. Yeah, and
personalities.
they
Yes.
all have different abilities. Again, that's the Guardians part because they're very funny, right?
Mhm.
The little guy is hilarious. He uses magical powers with a guitar. It's out there,
Yeah,
right?
he sings his
Yeah, he sings his
powers.
powers, and it's kind of silly and dumb at times, but for the most part, the jokes do work. It's got the again Dungeon and Dragons element, magic, the fighting dragons, which I can never complain about. Again, and Invincible got the same kind of animation styles. Invincible again on Amazon Prime, which is a great show. But
Mm.
it's got that that graphic. It's definitely a graphic show, and this isn't for the kids, right? This is a rated R kind of show in terms of the sexual
Mm.
jokes, the language, which is where the invincible part kind of comes in. But yeah, I enjoyed this. Man, it's really again quick episode, 25 minutes. I even the new season three, they're dropping three thus far. An hour and a half,
Yeah, they
less than an hour
do
and a half, you watch
three a
all three.
week, and then the last episode stands by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're picking up where it left off, man. I didn't really like the show, man.
Mhm.
For me, it's a really I recommend if you're a fan of good animation, more adult animation, in terms of content. Absolutely, I have fun with it. I'm glad I went back and actually decided to watch the season and say, man, it's just pretty good. I was laughing out loud sometimes, all that. Because it's not going to change the world, but it's very entertaining. It's a definitely good watch on Amazon. True, you're on board on this one. I assume nothing's changed
Mhm.
based off seasons and beginning of season two anyway.
No, no, actually, yeah. I mean, I was a fan of season one. Got tuned into it, and so I was anticipating and looking forward to season two. And give me more of the same, and that's what I enjoyed. Right, short, to the
Mm-hmm.
point, funny, action, bloody, off the wall, off the cuff type of animated show.
Yeah, it's unique and I feel like right. It's not. I was thinking something more of a kind of an anime style, kind of we've seen before, which Netflix done
Mm-mm.
well, but I didn't really want to see that from on this. But yeah, it's not that. It's just kind of it's out there, right? It's good humor and all that. It
Mm.
doesn't take itself very seriously, and that's a good thing. So yeah, good recommend, man. I just want to like, and I just want to recommend to you guys this one a cool show. That you want something different to watch. Easy one, 30 minutes, and not even
This
say
is it.
25 minutes, if even right, and maybe less than that per episode. So it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fast.
It's yeah, just short
Yeah,
episodes. I mean, it goes
yeah,
by quick.
and not even 2 hours. You watch 4 episodes. I mean, it goes that
Mm-hmm.
quick. But definitely a good recommend. Surprise on this one. So I'm glad it's season two did pick up. And again, same old, right? And that's a good thing, right? Give us more what we thought. What I got from the first season, nothing's changed, and that's a good thing. But yeah, that's it for this week. So again, it's not a lot, but some very good stuff in here. In terms of quality, this has been a very good week. Not quantity, but quality, right? And of course, Last of Us. I can't wait to see Last of Us second
Mm-hmm.
episode. But next week, man, it's loaded. I mean, it's really loaded. Not as spread out as I would like. This is like a good free weekend to catch up
Mm-hmm.
on all this. And a lot of these shows probably will get.
Some of the stuff is spread out. Some of the stuff
Yeah, and
is
like,
dropping
I don't
weekends.
think we're
So
gonna get like 1 or 2 episodes dropping on some of these shows, which helps, right? I don't have to watch 3 or 4. I can just watch 1 or 2. That's what I'm guessing. But let's start off beginning of the week on Wednesday, 25th. That's The Endless Night on Netflix, a limited series, but foreign show, if I'm not mistaken. Spanish
Spanish,
show. Okay.
a Spanish show, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
Yes.
there's one where it's a story about I guess these numerous teenagers died in some fire, about 200 and something, and it's the
Yeah, some club fire.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's happened here in the U.S. as well, but that's the
Yeah, I
basis
think
of
the
the
parents are
story.
dealing with that and dealing with the investigation
Hmm.
and seeking justice, if you will.
Correct.
Give it a shot. Limited series. I'm thinking 4 to 6 episodes, I guess, potentially.
Mhm.
On the 26th, this one I'm actually very intrigued about. And that is Poker Face, which
Ryan
we come
Johnson?
from the minds of Ryan
No.
Johnson, who gave
Yes.
us The Knives
Yes, sir.
Out, which I liked a lot, and they gave us Glass Onion, which I liked a lot. So, it's again another mystery, an anthology series. It's gonna be 10 episodes. Natasha Leone, who's great in Russian Doll, right? She's the main character.
Hmm.
She'll be the recurring character. She, I guess, has this ability to tell when you're lying, I guess. So she gets involved in these mysteries, and there's a big cast. Adrian Brody's in here. Judith Life, who's the boss. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in here. Ron Perlman's in
AGL?
here. Luis Guzman, we just saw in Wednesday. Tim Meadows, Nick Nolte. So it's got a big cast. So it looks interesting, and the fact,
Nick Nolte's eating again. That's good to hear.
yeah, excuse me, and even again, the Ryan Johnson's the big selling point here. Coming off Glass Onion and stuff, I'm in. This was good. I don't think I think this is one that's like a weekly drops, Chew, unless I'm wrong, Chew.
This is a
Okay,
weekly job. I think that with Peacock, maybe 2 episodes the first week,
right, yeah,
maybe just one. They
they
mix it
mix
up
it
where
up,
it's just maybe
so
one or
that's good. It
multiple,
helps when, yeah,
depending on the length of the
this is
season.
one that you can
But
watch one
I
episode.
think I definitely I think they're dropping two on
Okay,
Thursday, if
that's
I'm not
good. I like when
mistaken.
I do that because then I don't, I can just watch 1 or 2, move on to the next show, which is it's how
Yeah,
it's going
and
to
then
be
move
for
on
this
to
weekend.
yeah.
This next one, I don't know, but we got the Wolfpack on Paramount. I guess
They're in they're streaking. They're
I guess the
streaking. So
streaking.
let's
I'm
give
gonna
it
give
a
it a
feel.
shot. The trailer didn't look good. It looked very CW. I guess it has this is the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sarah
I
Michelle
guess
Gellar. That's
that deals
correct.
with
Yes.
Teen Wolves. I guess. Um,
Yeah, but it's not Teen Wolf as far as that
no.
comedy.
It's a series show.
It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they'll probably drop 1 episode. Just that might be enough for me to make a judgment on this. To be honest with you, whatever. Maybe it surprises me. Let's see. There are streaking, so I give credit where credit's due. On the 26th, same day, we have a documentary in Hulu, the 1619 Project.
Hmm.
I'm not too familiar with this, Chu. I'm not sure if you are.
Yes. Well, yeah. So, um, and I brought this up because I remember that the HBO documentary we saw. What was it called? Killing All the Savages, or
Oh man,
it came out.
yeah, a couple
It was
last
the
year.
famous
Yeah.
director. Yeah, which we really loved,
Really
right?
good. Yeah,
Because it took a very introspective look of the human expansion, right, or the white expansion across the world, right? And that was his take. So this one is based on the 1619 project. I think it was a New York Times uh, piece by a couple folks. And so this is, I think, a 6 part documentary, kind of telling that story, kind of expanding beyond, right? I think it's very serious subject matter, but an honest portrayal of history, right? And which is encouraged. Um, and I want to make a point to bring this up, just because the whole brouhaha this week. Sorry for those living in Florida, but the Santos man really
right.
AP African history has no educational value. Okay, sure. Well, we don't feel this way here at the Latin Earth Network, and we're going to make a point to bring out these
True.
shows that would give us a true view of our history, our past, so we can learn from it and not just brush it aside and pretend it never happened.
Yeah, it just looks interesting. I think this may be like a week. I don't think this might be a weekly drop too on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken.
They're dropping two
Okay.
episodes on Thursday, but then it's a 6 part series, so one episode every Thursday
Okay.
beyond
Fair
that.
enough. Again, that I like to hear that. Give us a little bit
Mhm.
nuggets. I don't want the whole thing at once. We
Yeah.
are gonna get a couple of those here, starting with Netflix on the 27th. A lot of things that day. We got Lockwood and Company. This was like a fantasy-based kids who joined band together for
I know Ghostbusters
yeah,
type
kind of
of
a Ghostbusters thing.
action.
What they call it, paranormal investigations, I guess.
Yeah, paranormal. Yes,
This one,
exactly.
this
Right,
has a
like some
vibe where it
Ghostbusters
can
type.
go really bad really fast, or it could be something like the Imperfects, which we looked like it was gonna go really bad.
It could go real bitch.
Yeah, it can go boo bitch or it can go, go the Imperfects. I enjoyed, and I thought the show might be, and that was one I was like, teetering, this could go really bad one way or another, right?
And that was disappointing they canceled that show. Yeah, we mentioned they canceled
Yeah,
that show, right?
did we? I don't remember if we did. We may have. It's possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately,
unfortunately,
yeah.
Yeah, that was canceled, which sucked.
Yeah,
We
I like
really
when
thought
enough, but
it was gonna make
it
it
is
there.
what it is. People don't watch it. It's, what
Yeah.
can you do? But this one has the same vibe, so it looks it could be fun or it could be a disaster. There's another one very familiar. I forgot the name of that show that we gave it 2 or 3 episodes and we're out. based off that kids.
Oh, that was that Indonesian
Yeah,
show that
Indonesian,
I
which
was
is
like, I didn't even get one episode. I got like
yeah,
five
it was
minutes and I
not
was
good.
out.
So this has got to be better than that, hopefully. So we'll see. So it does intrigue me in the subject matter. Same day we got Shrinking. Apple Plus. Apple Plus hasn't dropped something in a while. So
Shrinkage.
this looks really good. We got of course Jason Segel, who I really like, and Harrison Ford. Come on,
Hmm.
that's all you have to know.
Han
That's all you
Solo.
need. You tell me Han Solo's in it.
Han
All right, I'm
Solo.
gonna watch it. Right?
Dr.
Yeah,
Jones.
this is Jason Segel's a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, therapist, going through his issues, and now he's changing his techniques when he's helping his patients out, and I guess he needs help as well. Obviously, he's going through tough times, and I think it's where Harrison Ford's character comes in. I think he's a father-in-law or something,
Mhm.
something like that.
I believe so.
Yeah, and he's
Yes.
trying to
Yeah.
help him out.
I haven't seen the trailers, but I mean, see, like I said, anything Apple Plus, I see something in Apple Plus,
Yeah,
I
Apple
always keep
Plus,
an eye
I
out for.
trust.
I put on the
Yeah,
list
of
to
course.
see.
This looks interesting though.
Yeah, yeah, they've been pretty light of recent. You know, there's been some misses that they've gone ahead and canceled, and but I think this year they're hopefully there's a strong start to this. We have some others who are coming out. Hello Tomorrow, and actually they dropped a bunch of letting know that a bunch of shows from season one are coming back for in the spring of season two.
We know
Swagger,
it's
which I
coming in the
like, with
spring.
had Ice Cube's son.
You got
Yeah,
the
we have
Ted Lasso,
the murder
baby.
mystery
You
one.
got the
Chad Lasso. We had the murder mystery
yeah,
one. The night
and after.
after,
Yeah,
that was so unique
yeah.
and so fun, man. And so they have a lot of stuff coming up. So we're
Oh no,
definitely
yeah,
looking
definitely. Yeah,
forward
and this looks
to
good.
this
Again,
year.
Harrison Ford. You sold me on that to begin with, so I'll if nothing else, give it a shot, right? A couple more things, both on Netflix, same day, a big Friday. The Snow Girl, again another foreign show, um, Spanish
Spanish.
show. Journalist about a journalist investigating missing girl, something like that. Am I did I?
I think that yeah, that is the
Okay,
premise. Yes, correct.
so I'll give it a shot. I might keep that one on a short leash, but let's see. And the last thing is You People, a new film on Netflix.
The movie, yes.
With Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. Come on, bro. Come
Eddie
on. And I
Murphy,
get Eddie
man.
Murphy's not what he used to be. I get it. He's still fucking Eddie Murphy, God damn it. And Jonah Hill wrote this one. Jonah Hill's, I guess
Hey man, he had a great speech on the Golden Globes, man. So you know he still
that,
got
fair enough. That you are correct on that. So yes, this looks like it might be interesting. Look, it's Netflix. You're gonna roll a die. I get it. You know, this could be really stupid.
yes.
You know, wouldn't surprise me. But I like at least the people behind it. You know, Jonah Hill think he's gonna marry Eddie Murphy's daughter. Of course, who's black, so they interracial
Hmm.
stuff. And then Jonah Hill's family is Jewish. There's a clash of cultures between the two families, and it looks pretty funny. It looks like it could be interesting. So that comes out in 27. That one, I
I
definitely
may watch it. Just may watch it just for that, but
right. The
we'll see.
premise looks good. You know, if Eddie Murphy, I'm gonna give it a shot. I like Jonah Hill too. He's really good as well. So why not? So there's a lot of stuff coming out. Big week, and I should be able to get to almost all this stuff, maybe all this stuff. So yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Big week, but thus far, absolutely listen to Sunday. So Sunday means football. Sunday means Mayor of Kingstown, and Sunday means Last of Us. So it's gonna be a really good day,
Mhm.
as it is. And
Oh, and I made for witches as well.
witches,
Obviously,
yeah, I'm
that's
still not
season 3.
high on the witches yet. It's fine.
But you haven't jumped off
I
yet,
jumped
so
off and
it's
chugging
you
along. I
know.
did see a third episode this morning. I
Oh,
don't.
you know what? I completely forgot to mention. I recently got turned on to what used to be FX is now MGM Plus. And obviously, I don't think you should. I subscribed through Amazon. I said, okay, let me get a 70 trial because there was a couple shows that were on my radar for a long time. But you know, like I said, I need quantity. I need quality, but I need quantity.
Yeah,
It's got to be more than one show
agreed.
for me to make that commitment, right? Like with Apple Plus, like I waited and waited and waited, and then once they passed that climax, okay, I'm in, and I've been obviously happy ever since. But I did get MGM Plus and started going back to the library. I think the most current popular show is Godfather of Harlem, which stars Forrest
It looks
Whitaker
good.
and yeah, and Giancarlo Esposito, a different character, not Gus Fring related, so that's good. It's good to cleanse the palate a little bit
Nothing wrong with
on
that.
this repertoire of characters. But this takes place in six. It's actually a very, very good show. Season 3 just started. It's a weekly drop. But I did go back and watch some of the other shows. They had a show, War of the World, and reinterpretation of War of the Worlds, which I've been watching. I watched that Billy the Kid
Mhm.
show, that was out for me. It was really outstanding. If you like good westerns, and obviously Billy the Kid's very interesting subject matter. This is not unlike the movies Young Guns. This is not that. This is actually more of an accurate retelling of his life and his story. and the elements, right? Young Guns was just
It's Hollywood.
fantasy land as far as
It's
I'm
Hollywood.
concerned.
It's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood, yeah.
Fine. Which is
It's
fine. I like Young
completely,
Guns. Young Guns too. I'm
yeah.
all
But
over
if
it.
this Young Guns is not this, and it's not wasn't
Right.
his really pitch life, but whatever. But they have a lot of shows over the years that I've been going back and watch, and so I just want to drop that out there.
No,
Godfather Harlem,
no, I heard it looked really
if
good,
you want
and
to watch some good show,
I saw it when I
yes,
first saw a trailer. I'm like, oh, I want to watch this, and I heard Indiana. I'm like, yes, I'm not watching it. Again,
yeah,
you gotta I mean,
exactly,
there's so much stuff that comes out, right? You have to. I know not everyone can
yes.
get all this. I know you and I, we,
Mhm.
we share a lot of this stuff, and even friends, and like, if there's only so much to go around, right?
No, 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 there's only so many
Yeah, and there's
things,
only
and
so
yeah,
much
like I
you can
said,
watch, but
and so.
I agree. I mean, listen,
But like I want to throw it out there because I would say it is worthy
no,
of
no, and if you have it, or
discussion.
if
You know,
you can afford to get all these
if
streaming
you're
channels,
interested, I mean, like I said, Amazon it gives you a 7 day
they do.
free
Yeah,
trial. If you want to check out some of the shows and you make the decision, but
agreed.
definitely, Godfather Harlem is
I
worth
may
the wait.
on a slow week. Obviously, it's not happening with next week, clearly, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
not even next week after that. But at some point, I just one of those you can go back and just okay, 7 days, and we see what I can hammer out on a slow week. We get slow weeks all the time. It's going to happen sooner or later. So
yeah. This evening, yeah. Like I said, I mean, season three just dropped. Or this week is episode 2 of season 3.
okay,
So you have time to go back
if you
watch
can binge something in a week,
20
it's
episodes, but
possible.
yeah, it's
Possible.
possible.
It's
It's
possible.
possible.
You're
Yeah.
you're home, nothing to do. You got a week off. I don't know, whatever
Mhm.
staycation. I get it, but that's me one where like I need that time to really. I
Yeah.
don't know when
But
that's
they,
gonna come
they, they
about.
definitely it used to be epics, and then they
Yeah,
have they definitely have building a nice library of original shows. If you're looking for another reason to watch other shows that are not current, but you want to catch up, it
which
definitely has
I'm
enough
surprised that
to
just
pick
Prime
on.
doesn't just drop it because Prime owns MGM anyway. But whatever. Um, I'm hoping maybe they
Sure.
do that when if if no one's getting MGM Plus, which I assume is a good guess. I don't think this has the numbers of even a Peacock, which is
Uh,
not that big to begin with, right? Peacock is free though. So
well, I mean, I was surprised at the breadth of the library. They had a lot of original shows. I was looking through the
no,
library, and
I don't
man, they
doubt it.
have
It's
a
just
shit ton of
I
original
get it. It's just
shows.
it's tough. It's too much stuff going on. The
Yeah, yeah.
HBOs and you gotta have HBO obviously. We gotta have Netflix and you should be getting Apple Plus if you can. Paramount
And we
again.
got the
Paramount's been getting
Hulu,
better,
and we
right?
got the Disney,
Yeah,
and yeah, Paramount's starting to get
Hulu's been
better.
there for a while,
Uh,
and I like Hulu.
yes,
It's just
but Hulu is very limited in the good original content. It's
no, but they've
very
been
limited.
dropping
Let's be
not
honest.
like as much. They're more like at a Apple Plus. They don't drop as many, but when they do, it's usually pretty good, right? Um,
Yeah, I mean they've
but
had
it's
some,
worth
but
getting.
it's
It's definitely
far and
worth
few
getting. We got
between.
some good shows
Yes.
on there. The good comedies. We
Mhm.
saw one with Killian and Keo. We saw which really liked. The name's escaping me. Paul Reiser.
Yeah,
That
okay,
was fun.
right. Yeah.
But nonetheless, but yeah, it's too much. Amazon Prime. Well, you're probably getting anyway because you get shipping stuff. But the shows on there that
Mhm.
are definitely worth watching. It's a lot, man. It's too much. They need to bucket downloading Peacock. Peacock, but it's free, so whatever.
Yeah, Peacock Free, and right now it's only one show, The Prince of Bel-Air.
Right. I mean, let's see how the poker face might be really good too. So I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah.
Oh
But
yes,
again, we
yeah,
don't
I'm
know
sure.
yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
thus far, yeah, for the most part, and Doctor Death was great, but that was a couple of years ago, to say at least.
yeah.
But either way, listen, it's a lot of choices. I just said, stick with the big guns for now. If you got time, I guess get for free. AMC Plus also has good stuff too. So
Well, I dropped the AC Plus recently, so I
yeah,
had
I
room
kept it on because I
to
mean
put one
the
back
witches
in
came. I was like, let me just watch it. After witches, I may drop off until some of these shows we like come back.
until Gangs of
Gangs of
London
London
comes
come
back, or
back, and
something that's
right,
worthy that
exactly.
we're
So I'm gonna
waiting
give
for.
it like
Yeah.
another few weeks till this ends and whatever, and just whatever. I'm watching. 'Cause I guess I don't have cable anyway, so I'm just not even I can really watch this show for the most part.
True.
But yeah, that being said, a lot of stuff out there, a lot of stuff coming. Hope you guys enjoy it. Lots to watch. I don't want to hear nothing to watch on TV. That's a bunch of nonsense. That's what we're here for. Subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you guys, of course, next Sunday.